Welcome back, creepy crew. Tonight, we raise a glass to a chilling milestone. We've reached over 7,000 subscribers. Each one of you strengthens the Creepy Collective.
For we are one, we are many, and we are legion.
Now I want to know, have you checked your attic lately? Or perhaps the crawl space under your house? What about the dark, silent spaces between your walls? After this episode, you might want to consider checking. As you ponder the eerie possibilities, I ask you to comment below. Do you prefer me in this white suit, or does the black one send a better shiver down your spine?
Open the door. Open the door.
I just rang your doorbell because I have a couple questions for you. What? Are you sure?
Y'all seen that new show called Phrogging? It's where people is living in your house while you still living there. Like in your crawl space, your attic, and the walls. Oh, in closets and other parts of the house. It's creepy, man. I watched the episode of it last night, or part of it. One I seen, there was a feller living in the crawl space, coming out when the folks was gone, eating their food and lounging around and going through their clothes, wearing the wife's clothes. Feller had a cat named Spaghetti up in the crawl space with him too. Well, they had a dog named Taco, I believe, and he stole the sweater off the dog and dressed his cat with it. That's one of the reasons they knew something was up. And he also had the lady's onesie Christmas outfit on that she had boxed up way back in the back somewhere. So she knew it creeped her out because that kind of stuff was missing. When they found him, he was a rough-looking critter. They had some other stories that was more creepier. That one was a little funny, but I'm glad it turned out all right. But I can't imagine frogging would go on around here. Oh, where I live, probably wouldn't put up with much frogging. So tell me, have y'all heard of this phenomenon?
This is a good reminder to double check every single nook and cranny in your house. Because in 2019, this couple came home after a week-long vacation to see that there was a stranger living in their home. And he had most likely been living there while they were also in the house. Also, if you like these kinds of stories, you'll like tonight's episode. Upon arriving home after a week away, Josh Campbell tried the front door of his house, but there was a stranger on the inside pulling it closed. That stranger was 26-year-old Ezekiel Zayas, and yes, this is a video he left on their personal computers. The two were able to call the police and eventually get him out of the house, but that's when they saw all of the terrifying stuff he had been up to in the home. He also left them videos on their computers that included incredibly personal information that they had only shared with each other, meaning that he had been listening to their conversations. But the worst part was the knives. Ezekiel had left notes in the house about surgeries that he wanted to perform on the family, like a hand transplant. And when the couple went into their bedroom, they saw that there were knives and other utensils all around the bed. It seemed like he was preparing to do some sort of operation on them. Frogging stories are absolutely terrifying, and I don't want to give too much away, but you might be spooked by tonight's episode.
Last week, we told you about a stranger who lived in a family's home while they were away. He's awaiting trial on burglary charges and granted supervised release. Now, the prosecutor's office wants it revoked. Kimberly Speakman has follow-up that's new at 9. Kimberly.
Bridget, not only is there a motion for reconsideration for Ezekiel Zayas' supervised release, but I've also learned that he's been arrested again for a new robbery case. Last month, the Campbell family came home from a week-long vacation, only to find a man living in their home. What's more, he left their house in disarray and left them disturbing messages. Ezekiel Zayas has been charged with burglary for the incident, but was let out on supervised release until his trial. According to court documents, 8 days after his release, the state received digital notes that the family says Zayas left on their computers and iPads.
You get on their computer and it's a CSI show. There's stuff that he was putting on the computer, different things he was writing about that make you think, did he do anything to our food in the refrigerator? Is he planning on doing things to our home?
The documents were enough to move the prosecutor's office to make a motion for reconsideration of Zayas' supervised release.
It is very rare. If you're going to file a motion for reconsideration, you've got to come to the court with new information, new evidence, new arguments.
And now there's another thing to consider. Zayas was arrested again on Wednesday for robbery at the Buddhist Study Center across from UH Manoa. Cal says this could change everything.
So if he was arrested after he was released on this case, that is a violation of release. If that's the case, then what the government should do is file a motion to revoke his release based on the new arrest.
As for the Campbells, their attorney Michael Green says the family's feeling much better knowing that Zayas has been found.
There's relief if the guy's behind bars. I mean, when they go to sleep at night, they don't have to worry about him coming through a window or a door. That's relief.
Zayas has not yet been charged for the robbery arrest made yesterday. Back to you.
Often joke about checking under the bed before you go to bed, but it was no joke for a Palm Springs woman. When she reached under her bed, she was looking for her cats at the time. She says she touched an intruder instead. Police say 25-year-old Christian Vadovec. He was hiding under her bed after allegedly breaking into at least one home there locally and knocking on the doors of several other homes nearby. When he was confronted, this man reportedly took off running, but was caught finally by police near a canal. Vadovec faces charges of burglary, grand theft, and resisting arrest.
Since I've been living here, I've been having pieces of clothes missing, like shirts, pants.
Items disappearing and prints left behind.
I have a handprint on my bathroom wall, and on my mirror.
But it wasn't until Saturday that Maddie, a junior at UNCG, uncovered a mystery that she and her roommates thought was a ghost.
And I just hear rattling in my closet, it sounds like a raccoon is in my closet. Put my hand on the knob, and I'm like, who's in here? And then somebody answers me. He's like, oh, my name's Drew. So I open the door, and he's in there wearing all of my clothes, my socks, my shoes, has a book bag full of my clothes.
Police say that was 30-year-old Andrew Swafford, the same man you see appearing via video conference from the Guilford County Jail.
He had these pants on, actually on his body.
Maddie called her boyfriend, and as she calmly waited for help, she talked with Swafford to keep him distracted.
He tries on my hat, goes to my bathroom, looks in the mirror. He asked, he was like, you're really pretty, can I hug you? But he never touched me.
The big question the girls are trying to get answered, how he got inside. They tell me their doors are always locked, and they did not see any damage to them. But what really scares the girls is that men have entered their apartment before.
It was two guys in the living room.
That was December 19th. The girls alerted the leasing office. An employee confirmed they changed the locks at that time, but did not file a police report. I was told that is standard protocol, but Maddie and her roommate say they can't take it anymore.
Last night I did not feel safe. I slept with my roommate in her bed. I can't stay here. My closet, it stinks. I don't every time I go in there, it's it's a bad vibe. That's why I'm ready to just leave. And all the rest of the socks I threw.
Honestly thought we had ghosts. I thought that the whole place was haunted, honestly.
Law student Amaya McBride and her two college roommates were victims of frogging.
When we found out what the name of it was, I had to go Google it.
You had clothes missing from your closet.
I did. Clothes, shoes. I used to color coordinate the items in my closet, so I would notice if my favorite light blue wash jeans were missing.
Then they found mysterious blonde hair in the tub. The roommates all have black hair.
How would he know when to leave? That's the tricky part. I don't know. It's almost like he knew all of our routines.
Finally, they found 30-year-old Drew Swafford in a closet. The homeless man pled guilty to breaking and entering and served 79 days in jail.
I never saw this man move. He was literally a thief in the night.
According to Young, the DA for the 17th Judicial District in Colorado, this man, Jason Cameron Stiles, will spend 16 years behind bars for burglary and stalking. According to Young, back on November of 2018, The 30-year-old attacked the woman in the bedroom of her home. She fought him off and Stiles took off. Police arrested Stiles shortly after. They found him with a knife, and latex gloves, and a gun outside of the victim's home. Investigators later learned Stiles had broken into the victim's home at least twice in October before the November attack. The investigation found that Stiles hid in the closet on multiple occasions, watching her undress, brush her teeth, get ready for bed, and also watched her sleeping. The DA says this case should serve as a reminder to always be aware of your surroundings.
One of the scary things about this situation is we could never really figure out how he was getting into the apartment. I think we assumed that he was getting the garage code somehow, either by watching her enter it or something like that, and came through the garage door. But there was no really signs of entry.
The DA says through the investigation, they learned Stiles and the victim were in a class together at Front Range Community College during the fall of 2017, and that Stiles had likely been stalking her for a little more than a year.
Stiles pleaded guilty to first-degree burglary, stalking, and crime of violence using a weapon. According to the DA, Dave Young, the victim, is relieved that Stiles will spend 16 years behind bars. Erica Gonzalez, Fox 31.
All right, Erica, thank you.
So it's 6 o'clock in the morning, and we woke up because we heard noise. Oh, here comes the police. Is that them? And we heard this noise. And so I came outside. I thought somebody was on a roof. And I'm looking around. I'm standing at the front door and I'm like peeking out and I see the grass moving over here. Oop. Grass is moving. A fucking arm comes out of the hole and is feeling around, a dirty ass arm's feeling around this hole outside. And there is a whole ass man living here for months, living underneath the house. You know how creepy it is to see a fucking arm come out of this, feeling around the side of the house? Imagine being half awake and seeing an arm, a dirty arm, come out of this hole.
And the cameras would not stop going off.
You see him?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
It's Takashi 6ix9ine.
Oh, he's high as shit. No. Oh my God.
So let me tell you how I came home from the grocery store and found out somebody was living in my attic, part one. So I always used to hear like weird little noises coming from the attic, but I never really paid it no mind. I thought I just like was tripping, or it's a new house that's settling. Now one day I was thinking like, what if it's a raccoon up in there? But I don't know. Anyway, when I went to the grocery store, right, this string right here, this was up here. And when I came back, it was down and it was open some. I can't even open it to show y'all how much it was open because it's kind of hard to pull. So anyways, I called my sister, friend, cousin, homegirl, baby daddy that stay in Atlanta to come and, you know, open up here and check it out and see what's going on. So when he got here, I've been telling him like all the little weird stuff I've been hearing, the stories and all of that. So he like just go stand outside. I'm finna open up the attic and see what's going on. Yeah. Okay, why this man find a blanket, a pillow, some clothes, a whole bunch of trash, and like a picture of like a man, a wife, and his daughter in the attic. But it wasn't no women or no children clothes up in there. It was just men clothes. Okay, so I don't know where all that stuff at, but after he got him out the attic and whatever, I was gonna call 911, but he had told me not to or whatever, because I guess he had the situation like under control or whatever. But anyway, long story short, come to find out that I guess the man was kind of like, I don't know, crazy or whatever. He said that he been living here since August, but me and my sister literally closed on our house in August, but we didn't move in until July. We got this house built, like we was like literally like the first person to ever live inside this house. So that's what's weird about it. So he was just like basically trying to say that this is his house, he paid rent, yada yada yada. So my sister friend, cousin, homeboy, whatever, he was asking like, who do you pay rent to? He like, to the man. So he like, to the man who? He like, to the man down there. So I don't know who the fuck the man is or where down there at, but no. Anyways, before he left, he did like another little walk through to the house, and he checked this attic right here that the man was living in, and then he checked these things right here. We got these in like every room, but it's 2 of them in this room, and then it's 1 inside my closet. So he checked these. It's like a little, let me see. It's like another little attic. So it's like these in like every room. Okay, yeah, so those is like in like every room of the house or whatever. Oh yeah, then he asked him like, if this your house, so like why you don't ever, you know, be out roaming around, going through the kitchens, using the bathroom, all that, yada yada yada. So he like he thought he was living in an apartment. He paying for the upstairs. He thought the downstairs was somebody else's house. He said he come out like around 3-4 o'clock in the morning to do his duties or whatever. I guess use bathroom. I don't know. That's like usually around the time that we be hearing like the noises or whatever, like late at night. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, that's like the weird shit that's been going on in Georgia. And then let me show y'all the one that's in my room, because I never trusted it, like ever. Okay, so this the one that's in my closet. I got this box, this. So I'm gonna hear like everything if somebody was trying to come up out this door. This. Some noise, because I'm gonna hear all that shit. I'm gonna hear everything, but this the one. Yeah, I'm gonna hear it all. So if y'all got addicts, I advise y'all to, I don't know, have somebody do like a little thorough walkthrough, because people is living in attics. Oh yeah, and I keep some perfume. I'm gonna spray your eyes. Now you blind. Then I'm gonna slice you and dice you. Moral of the story is, Georgia's weird. Like every time you get something weird going on, it's either Florida or Georgia. Like y'all weird. Y'all weird.
Yo, what's up guys? I've been in Florida for 2 weeks. I just got home and I noticed there's a crack in my living room ceiling and I went to go investigate, and you'll never believe what the heck I just found. I'll go up there. Yo, what the fuck? Holy shit. Holy fucking shit.
Let's go. Please. Please don't hurt me, man. Please, I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me, man.
Why not? No one's hurt you. Look at us, bro. Are we hurting you?
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Come on, let's go. Let's get you out of the sun. Let's get you out of the sun. Let's get you out of the sun.
Please don't want to know, bro.
Let's get him out of the sun. Get you out of the sun.
You owe me some money, Malik. You know you do, man. Please.
Come on, let's go.
You don't hurt.
Hey, bro. We're not gonna hurt you. Don't worry about that, bro.
No, I'm not coming out there for a while, bro.
Come on, bro.
But I'll remember this house, man.
Come on, bro. Somehow.
This teen was hiding in a stranger's walls for weeks. In 1986, Tina and Karen Bowen began noticing items moving and disappearing in their home. They wondered if the source of the disturbance was a ghost, but their father, Frank, simply thought their imaginations were running wild. Everything changed on December 8, 1986, when a teenage boy with spiked hair suddenly appeared in the family's home and forced them into an upstairs bedroom. He wore face paint and wielded both a hatchet and a wrench. The family's eldest daughter, Tina Bowen, escaped through a window and called police, but when they arrived to investigate, the boy was gone. 2 days later, Frank Bowen returned to their home to collect some belongings when he saw the boy staring out a second-floor window. This time, police found the boy, 16-year-old Daniel LaPlante, hiding in a wall cavity in the family's bathroom. LaPlante had been secretly living in the Bowens' home for days, slowly tormenting the family before finally revealing himself. The space where LaPlante hid was just large enough for him to squat in place, and he apparently even slept this way, all while the family continued using the bathroom. LaPlante was arrested and sent to juvenile hall, but received a lenient sentence. Years later, he received 3 life sentences for unrelated crimes.
See if you want to call this in. I'll sit down and talk with the homeowner.
Guys, story time about I found a man hiding in my cupboard in my home.
Can you imagine?
Be careful who you allow in your home. Guys, when I tell these story times, please, these were time ago, okay? So I don't experience this no more, so I don't need advice in the comments about, okay, but you shouldn't have done this. These are all stories of when I was younger.
I've learned, I've lived.
Okay, so this is a while back now. Me and my best friend and her friend went out, one day. We came home mad late because that's even another story time in itself.
Tell them,
we must have come home mad late that day. Probably like around 11, 12, but at the time that was very, very late. This day specifically, we was in school. So me and my best friend, she was staying over at my house and we was meant to go to school together the next day because we went to the same school type thing. And her friend, let's call her Genevieve. Genevieve is not my friend, that's my friend's friend. So when we've all come back together, Genevieve was kind of like, oh, because it's late, can I just stay with you guys? And then I will go home the next day. So obviously, I didn't know her like that, but obviously if she's my best friend's friend, she must be cool people, do you know what I mean? Like a friend of a friend is a friend of mine. I was a bit skeptical at first because she just seemed a bit rough, but I was just like, alright, I didn't want to be rude. So I had to beg my mum if she could stay. My mum finally agreed. Genevieve, if you're watching this, I don't have a problem with you. I just have to share my experience because this is what I do on TikTok. Yeah, thank you. So cool. Genevieve was one of them naughty, rough girls. But she seemed like a cool person to get along with, so I said, why not? But if you don't know Genevieve, you know nobody wants to mess with Genevieve. Genevieve was this very scary girl. Like, she had boys on lock. She had your mama on lock because that girl was scary. Cool. This day in the morning, everyone's running late. My mom's gone to work. It's just us three. Me and Bessie have gone to school. She said, "Oh, I'm gonna leave," because we start relatively quite early compared to most schools. She was like, "I'm gonna leave like 10 minutes after you guys." I was just thinking, leaving her in my house is, but what's the worst that could happen? So I thought. This day specifically, I had to stay in school for longer than usual because of year 11 booster. But this day, she kept messaging me.
Dodgy
it was so weird. She kept messaging me like, when are you coming home? Because she said that she's not going to go to, she didn't go centre anymore. So she slept the whole day. She kept messaging me, when are you going to go home? I mean, when are you coming? When are you coming? I'm thinking, I live around the corner from my school. So what do you mean, when am I coming? Like, why are you so eager for me to come back? Dodge. So then my best friend said, Sarah, don't be angry, but I think someone might be in your house.
Hey.
I'm like, what? So immediately no. I'm pissed off. I remember all the girls in my school were like, what's going on? Everybody wanted to say something pop off. So all the girls followed me back home and I've now come home. I've gone to my house confronting her like, what's going on? Why am I hearing someone's in my house? As we're going back and forth, tell me why a man drops out of my cupboard. Okay, part 2 of when I found a man hiding in my cupboard. We're gonna call this man Judas. Judas, I remember what you look like. When I catch you, yeah? When I catch you. Anyways, this man has dropped out the cupboard like a fool. This man is laughing for his life, guys. When I say he's taking the absolute piss, he's laughing. This man is laughing at us, like he's actually laughing. He's taking the piss. Me and my friends have looked, we've all turned around at the same time. We've all screamed because it literally scared us. Imagine we're all back and forth, we're all arguing. Boom! One guy just drops out the cupboard. And the man, he's dying of laughter to the point we all just scream like, ah! Like, do you know how scary that is? A man in your cupboard, in your house. And you've never, this is a grown man. And you've never, well, he's young, but we've never seen this man before. Way older than us. So obviously we've screamed. Guys, I saw red. I said, get out! I was screaming, get out! Like, I literally, oh guys, this is probably the angriest I've probably ever been in my life. One of the angriest moments of my life, yeah. My whole entire life. I can't make this shit up. I've just screamed, get out! Like I said about Genevieve is not one of them girls to mess with, yeah. I would never ever picture myself in an argument with her. But because I was so angry, that's the first time I've even been that angry in my whole life. I'm like, get out of my house. I started throwing everything at her. I said, get out! That boy, Judas, this stupid boy. I still remember him. He grabbed his luggage. He just started running out of my house. The man had no shoes on. He grabbed his shit from my cupboard and he started running. And I'm angry because my £5 was on that table. And £5 was a lot.
Refund the people them.
My £5 was on my table. This man thieved my £5. I know, Judas, if you're watching this, I know you took my £5.
Refund the people
Give it back. This man took my £5. And he's, I can't make this shit up. Like, I can't make it up. He's just running for his life. He's laughing and he's out of the door. But as for Genevieve, I was like, I said, bro, if you don't get the hell out of my, I can't even swear, if you don't get the hell out of my house right now. Then in the end, I kicked her out my house. I didn't speak to her for a while, but then she came back and she apologized and I accepted her apology. And I apologized for being angry because I'm never usually that angry. Like, it takes a lot to get anger out of me and I was just so angry. More of the story, be careful who you allow in your house. Be careful whose energy you're letting in because you don't really know anyone's true intentions. Especially her, like, I didn't know her like that, but I didn't think she would be that type of person. But be careful, guys.
Come on in. Do it again. Come on down. Never. I promise, Atlanta. I promise, Colgate. Oh, God, please. Come on. Oh, God. Come on. Please. I'm helping you out. Come down. Don't kill me. Why do you think I put the lighter here? So you can get down. Come on. Please, sir. Come on. Please, y'all. Come down. Come on. Cheryl, please. That's why I got you. Come on. Cheryl, please.
You said because Gucci Mane and Wiz Khalifa were having a party. What are you here now? Why did I come in my house and you're in here?
Because I am under a lot of magic right now.
Say, man, look. I could kill you right now. It's your second time coming in here.
I know.
Why do you feel like it's free to keep breaking in my fucking house? Huh?
I mean, you can do whatever you want with me. I'm dead serious. I will, like, get on my knees and pretty much say that I am under so much...
Do you live in this neighborhood?
Yes, I live 4 houses down.
Why were you just sitting in the restroom?
Because I was so scared of somebody trying to kill me, dude. My own brother busted through my door with a screwdriver and literally was going apeshit. That I wasn't taking my meds, that I was staying up late, and he was scared.
I thought when the police took you last time, you were in the hospital. And they said you were going to be gone away for a while. When did they release you?
Pretty much like a week ago or something.
And you want to come up in here? Why do you keep wanting to come here?
Dude, I'm scared.
Why do you keep wanting to come
here?
Why do you keep wanting to come here?
This place is safe. We're serious.
Give me a hug.
In my apartment that I knew I wasn't eating. I confronted my girlfriend who lives with me about it, and she claimed she wasn't eating it. So I decided I'm going to set up a video camera, I'm going to catch her. This is what I found.
How creepy is this? A surveillance camera catches a man crawling around an attic. Down below, this family's bedroom, where this couple sleeps. Next to the bed, their 10-month-old baby girl's crib.
For all these years, we have no idea what's been going on inside our own home.
Jerome Kennedy and Ashley live with their baby Reagan in an historic home in Pittsburgh. The row house next door being renovated is owned by 69-year-old Robert Havrilla.
He's very reclusive. He keeps to himself.
Last month, Jerome was in bed when he heard noises in the attic.
I knew that somebody was up there.
Then he says he noticed a light shining through a pipe.
Then I saw the light right through there, like it was searching for a place to look through.
Jerome decided to install a surveillance camera in his attic.
That's him right there.
A day later, caught on tape, was his neighbor carrying a power drill.
I think that he was looking into the bedroom.
Jerome discovered his neighbor had made a removable wall to gain access to their attic.
There was originally a wall here that he had removed.
And it wasn't just the attic. Jerome also found holes in a common wall. He quickly plugged them up with tissue paper.
You can see those holes. They look perfectly round.
The couple's attorney, Jack Goodrich.
It's that scary to think that somebody would be that intrusive into somebody's home. In my humble opinion, he was waiting for the creep show.
Cops were called and Robert Havrilla was charged with stalking and trespassing. He's pled not guilty.
I think he should go away for a long, long time.
So that we can sleep soundly at night.
6-year-old man in Cudahy is in custody. Police are investigating if he's connected to a string of events that included shots fired last night. Police say 2 officers believed they were actually being shot at near Carpenter and Packard. They were responding to a call of someone breaking glass and a person seen jumping from one rooftop to another. The South Shore Joint Tactical Unit's armored vehicle was actually called to get those officers out of there. Then this morning, police received a different call of an unknown man in an attic of a home a block away from where everything happened on Summers Avenue. He had a broken leg, drugs on him, and a gun was found nearby. So both incidents still unclear if they're connected. They're under investigation tonight.
Felt like there was a presence that, I felt like something wasn't right.
This woman says she is still shaking tonight. This afternoon, deputies found a man hiding in her attic.
And within just the past hour, we've learned the suspect's identity. Mike Manzoni talked with the homeowner's daughter in an interview you'll see only on 7.
When Candy Ball stopped by this vacant house in Innery her dad owns the other day, she felt uneasy.
I come down yesterday and I got a feeling of something wasn't right.
Hours later, she called police after she says a family member told her this man, Thomas Zor, who's wanted in connection with a string of vehicle thefts, might be in the area with her son.
I thought that he may be hanging around, that he might be around, but I had no idea he was in the attic.
That's right. Investigators say they found Zor hiding in the home's attic. A viewer sent us this picture showing the moment deputies surrounded the house and arrested the man at gunpoint on the roof.
It's very unsettling. It's very unsettling. I'm still jerking inside.
The owner's daughter says this wood board was covering that hole in the ceiling. She says that's the only way the suspect could have got inside the attic. Investigators say Zor is suspected of stealing a Coca-Cola van in Lawrence earlier this week.
We could have got killed.
We talked with eyewitness Rosa Yeldell on Wednesday. She told us she saw Zor run from Lawrence County deputies moments before she says he nearly ran her over.
If I hadn't bagged up a little bit, it probably would have hit me, knocked me out.
I'm just glad nobody was living here at the time.
Ball says even though Zor is in jail tonight, she still doesn't feel any better.
I've been a nervous wreck. I'm still a nervous wreck over it. I'm scared.
In Spartanburg County, Mike Manzoni, 7 News.
Zor faces malicious injury to property charges. Deputies say he will head back to Lawrence County at some point to face more charges.
Mount Juliet police say a mother did not know an 18-year-old man was living in her attic and would come down into her 14-year-old daughter's room at night. That man is now charged with trespassing. It's bizarre. The man's family claims there's more to the story. News 4's Forrest Sanders walks us through it.
Mount Juliet police say a mother came back to her Karen Drive home to find this man, 18-year-old Matthew Casto, at the the top of the stairs. Police say Castro ran into the attic and refused to leave, forcing officers to head up there and get him out. They say, unknown to the mother, Castro had been living in the attic, only coming down into the room of the mother's 14-year-old daughter at night. Just a few weeks ago, police say they got involved when Castro and the 14-year-old ran away together. In fact, after that happened, a detective warned Castro to stay away from here, to stay away from the girl. Castro is charged with trespassing, with police saying no other charges are coming. The family of the 14-year-old did not answer attempts to reach them by news time, but Castro's mother, who declined to appear on camera, told News 4 what's happened is tearing her family apart. Castro's mother says her son has mental health issues, and she says the 14-year-old often calls Castro over to help with her emotional problems. Castro's mother says before the arrest, she'd called the girl's family to tell them her son might be at their house. She says he now knows not to go back. Castro has made his $2,000 bond and will be in court later this week. In Mount Juliet, I'm Forrest Sanders, News 4.
Well, Tom, this man, Mauricio Damian Guerrero, currently faces 4 charges of burglary, but state prosecutors say more charges could be coming once Somersworth police finish their investigation. Now, according to court paperwork made public today, Guerrero, who lives in Pennsylvania, drove nearly 400 miles to Somersworth and allegedly broke into the home of a woman who he met on the website OnlyFans. And those documents say that Guerrero broke into the home several times and even took video of the woman's private areas while she slept. Somersworth police found Guerrero hiding in the attic, they say, and found a tile tracking device that Guerrero admitted he wanted to tape to the victim's car to follow her. He was taken into custody after police found him on the woman's roof, climbing there from the attic, and charged him with burglary. He later posted bail and was released last week against the wishes of prosecutors.
He was released after that with pretty strict bail conditions. But it is an ongoing concern of ours, the safety of the victim during the pendency of this case. So that was why we asked for him to be held pending trial.
Now, Guerrero was released on $2,500 cash bail. He is required to wear a GPS tracking bracelet and has been ordered not to enter the state of New Hampshire and not to have contact with the victim. Again, further charges could be coming once police finish their investigation. Live in studio, Scott Cook, WMUR News 9.
Okay, so this is how we found out that someone was living in our shop in the tanning bed and then also in our back porch in our extra room. And I'll show y'all everything that is still there. So around 1 o'clock yesterday, I was at work, Ryan was at work, and we saw on our cameras that it said one person seen. I never look at it. I always think it's just FedEx. But I just happened to be on my phone, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna look and just watch them drop off a package or whatever. So I click on it and it's a lady walking down our driveway, in the middle. You could tell she came from our backyard. So I zoom in on it and I'm watching her walk and she turns that way. And I see her with an Eddie Bauer backpack on. That's the only reason that it kind of gave me suspicion that she was in our shop. That's the only thing that kind of made me think that. And just some of the clothes that she was wearing, I was like, that is just so weird, because my mom had just moved over a lot of my fall clothes and my winter clothes from her house over to my shop, and we just never locked it back. So I was pretty much done with work, and I was like, I'm just gonna come and see, because I saw that Eddie Bauer backpack. And I know anybody can have that, but it was just such a coincidence that she was walking through our yard with the backpack. So I'm going 70 and I drive past our house and I can see the lady and she's walking. And so I just drive past her really, really slow and I'm watching her and she's got all my clothes on. She has all my clothes on down to the slippers. I have these puppy slippers that only cover half of your foot. And she had those on. So I turn around as fast as I can, come straight back to the house, go inside the shop. This is what I found. Okay, so we're in the process of a move and our landlords are moving all their stuff out. And our ceiling came off with high winds. But they were I came in and there were 6 probably of these trash bags with all of my fall clothes that my mom had packed up for me. And there was one of these bags and it looked like she had dragged it all down here because all these clothes right here were on a trail, a trail on the floor. And I wish it was still the way that it was, but we moved stuff around. So this was laid down like a bed. And like all my clothes, I guess she uses pillows, and she just changed throughout the day. And like some of these are old clothes. But anyway, she was living in here for a little bit. They already took these clothes, but she tried to hide her wet, nasty panties, bras, pants, everything into this. But I thought the cushions come from this, obviously. And we keep finding more things the more that we look. Okay, part 2.
Why? Why do I have to read these stories right before bed? I found this frogging story on Reddit and it stuck out to me because they moved into a new house, and that's when this happened. And I am currently in the process of wanting to move. The lights just flickered. I hated that. It started off with those noises that we all brush off, oh, it's the house settling, until they heard whispering. One evening, curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to investigate. Armed with a flashlight and a sense of dread, I began knocking on the walls to locate the source of the sounds. That's when I stumbled upon a loose panel in the basement. It led to a narrow, dark passage. I had to know what was hidden within. No. I reached a small chamber where dim candlelight flickered. There, I found a makeshift bed, old photographs, and eerie drawings on the wall. It was clear that someone had been living here, in my house, undetected, for who knows how long. The walls were adorned with names and dates, all pointing to a single conclusion. This secret occupant wasn't alone. They had companions. And the most chilling part was that some of those dates were recent. There's a sick, twisted part of me that kind of romanticizes the idea of discovering a tunnel or a secret room, but not in my own house. That would destroy me.
What is this on my floor? Because it wasn't here when I left and ain't nobody here. I always thought that it was somebody living in a motherfucking basement, bitch.
I'm gonna take a wild guess from the comments of that video that a lot of you haven't heard of frogging, and not jumping around and shit frogging. Frogging with a P. That shit is scary, bro. For a little context on that video, there's a mess in this lady's house, and she didn't make the mess, her kids didn't make the mess, and she's convinced that it's somebody else inside her house that made this mess. But all the comments insist that it was just the kids before they left for school. She's panicking, she's taping off the attic to make sure there's nobody living up there, and her friends and family are calling her wild for doing all this, but I believe you. I fucking believe you, because this shit is scary. So what is frogging? Frogging is when somebody lives in your house without you knowing. Not because they have nowhere to live, but because it's like an adrenaline rush for them. It's a game to live in your house without you knowing. And there's a whole community of people who do this. I've seen a lot of scary movies. I watched a movie on frogging. I forget what it's called. You could probably look it up. That shit scared me more than any scary movie I've ever watched in my fucking life, because it's a real thing. I kind of lucked out though, because this family has a whole spare room that nobody goes in, so I'm kind of just vibing.
So imagine you're home at night and you start hearing weird noises all around the house. Initially you brush it off thinking that it might be some sort of rodent, but then things start happening around the house that you definitely cannot explain. Things start to go missing while others are not where they once were. And then somehow you convince yourself that this must be the restless spirit of your mother who had just passed away. But what if none of that were true? And instead, the truth is that someone was living inside your walls. Well, that's exactly what happened to the Bowen family who were living in Pepperell at the time. It all started in the fall of 1986. And this is where a young high school girl named Tina, along with her sister and her father, were living at the time. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the girls did start to hear strange noises throughout the house. And at one point, they even conducted a seance using a Ouija board in order to contact the spirit of their mother who had passed away recently. But when all of the noises and the disturbances at the home began to increase, they thought that it must have been the spirit of their mother. But things escalated to the point where the girls could no longer deny that there was something much more nefarious going on. For example, there were bottles of alcohol that were all of a sudden empty. And disturbing messages were being left across multiple rooms in the home in ketchup and mustard. And a few of these messages said, quote unquote, "Marry me" or "Come find me, I'm in your room." And there was even a family photograph that was pinned against a wall using a knife.
Now, initially, the father of these two girls thought that they were just pranking each other, and eventually he thought that they were also pranking him. But on December 8th of 1986, the girls had returned home from school, and when they went to the bathroom, they discovered that someone had recently used their toilet. Obviously, they ran to their father, telling him what they had just discovered, and he immediately began searching the entire home. And when he opened one of the wardrobes in one of the bedrooms, he made a very shocking discovery. A man wearing a ninja mask and a Native American jacket jumped out of the wardrobe, and that man ended up being this guy here, Daniel LaPlante. He managed to get past the girl's father and disappeared somewhere inside the house. Thankfully, Tina was able to escape from the house through a window and ran to a neighbor to call the authorities. Obviously, the police arrived to the home, but they had no luck finding Daniel right away. It took 2 entire days, but police finally found him in a crawl space within the walls of the family home. He was found living inside a triangular space within the walls of the family home, and it was estimated that he had been living there for several weeks. Obviously, Daniel was arrested and sent to a juvenile detention center because he was only 16 years old at the time. His mother then remortgaged her house in order to provide the bail money, which ended up releasing Daniel. But sadly, it gets a lot worse. While he was waiting for trial, Daniel wasted no time in resuming his poor behavior, including burglaries across the neighborhood, which included the home of the Gustafson family. Now, the family consisted of Priscilla Gustafson, who was a pregnant nursery school teacher, along with her husband Andrew and their 2 children, 5-year-old William and 7-year-old Abigail. On December 1st of 1987, Daniel then broke into the family home carrying an armed weapon. However, he did not expect any of the family members to be home at that time. But unfortunately, he ended up running into Priscilla inside the home. Now, initially, he said that he did consider jumping out of the window, but instead he decided to confront her. He then proceeded to put William inside of a closet while he tied Priscilla to the bed. He then essayed Priscilla, and after he was done, he shot her twice in the head. He then took William into the bathroom where he proceeded to drown him. And as he was about to leave the house, Abigail had just returned home from school. And so he did the exact same thing to her that he had done to her little brother. And following his horrific crime, he then returned home to his niece's birthday party and pretended like everything was totally normal. But when Andrew Gustafson returned home later that evening, he made the horrifying discovery. But because Daniel was not a very smart criminal, he left tons of evidence behind at the home, which led to authorities capturing him right away. And although he did try to run away and escape authorities, he was captured on December 3rd of 1987. And in 1988, his trial began for the Gustafson family. And very quickly, the jury did find him guilty and gave him 3 life sentences. And in 2017, he did end up applying for a reduced sentence, but the judge found that he was just not remorseful for any of his actions, and so his request was denied.
To one of the creepiest stories about frogging I have ever heard of. So James saw this really strange rehabilitation message on his calendar, but he thought it was just a strange way that Brittany was trying to tell him that he needed to tidy up. Well, 3 weeks later, James was finally convinced. They were all going to the movies as a family, and there was one particular blanket that they liked to use to snuggle up to watch movies, and none of them could find it. They searched the house up and down. It was usually on the couch. The kids were helping. No one could find it. And the second that they returned home from that movie, they found that blanket folded up perfectly, sitting on the couch. And that's when James knew something was wrong. Brittany was like, finally, she was feeling validated. And soon after that, in the middle of the night, Brittany noticed that her webcam was on, and she felt that was strange, but she just got up and turned it off. So in September of 2019, they decided to go back and visit their family on the mainland, and they decided to take an earlier than planned flight home. And when they pulled up back to the house, they noticed that James's road bike was sitting in the driveway, and he was like, I didn't leave that out there. So they knew something was totally off, and the second that they opened their garage door, they noticed that everything was trashed. James was scared for his family's safety, so he went ahead and grabbed a sledgehammer and headed to the front door of the house. James tried to open his front door, but was met with some resistance. And then after providing a little bit of extra force with opening the door, he was met eye to eye with a man inside of his home. And this man was, no joke, plotting their surgery. If you guys want to hear more about this story, tune into Frogging Hider in My House on Lifetime on June 18th, 10/9 Central. Okay, so back to one of the creepiest stories about frogging I have ever heard of. So James
actually do have a case about a real life Frogger too. This case is called the Denver Spider-Man. His name was Theodore Conies or Connies. He had a pretty rough childhood too. Doctors would say that he wouldn't live to see 18 because he had like a medical conditions and stuff like that. He was homeless for most of his adult life. So time passes when he goes to this house from his old friend. His original plan was to just go steal money and steal food, but when he went, like, nobody was home and the door was unlocked. And as he was looking through everything, he saw a hole that led to a secret room in the attic. Him being skinny, he fit through the hole. He made himself through the attic, and for the next 5 weeks he was staying at the crib, and he only went down whenever they were sleeping or whenever they were out. He would only come down to get food and then go back up.
Living like a rat.
Within those 5 weeks, on October, he thought that the guy was out, but he was snapping somewhere, and he was going through the fridge making noise, and the guy ended up waking up. A fight ensued. He ended up killing him. But after killing him, instead of fleeing the scene, he just cleaned the murder weapons and went back up to the attic and just stood there. And when the cops arrived, they searched everywhere, but they couldn't find no evidence. And they saw the hole too, but they didn't think a man could fit through there, so they just let it be. And he stood there for the next, I think all the way to July, bro.
God damn.
How do niggas not realize things going missing?
Yeah, like
things being
Hi guys, so I live in a complex, right? And all of the attics are connected. And I'm convinced there's people living in there. I'm convinced there's people living in there, walking around all the attics, coming around into people's houses and stealing food. And there's like 200 units in this complex. So they could do it for years and no one would even notice. So last night, I'm minding my own business in bed, right? And I hear banging upstairs. And my dog is like freaking out, not barking, but running around. Like someone's there, like she's excited to see somebody. I was too scared to go upstairs. I thought it was like my stepdad at first. Just being an asshole. Like he stubbed his toe and he was being a dick or something. So I asked my mom this morning. Wasn't him. Wasn't them. They were in bed. So we're gonna go investigate. I'm trying to talk about this downstairs away from my attic and then be quiet because I don't want anyone who could potentially be up there to figure out that I'm looking, because then they'll just go to other units and I'll never know. By the way, I just fixed my eyebrows with the red. That's not stain, that's just me red. So for context, there's the attic. And this is my sister's room. Like, look how close those are to each other. That freaks me out. Oh, I just scared the shit out of myself on camera. This is so unsafe. It's a rolling chair. Oh my god. That is way too easy. That's way too easy to move. That's so uncomfortable. I'm leaving. Okay, that is so creepy. I'm telling you, that was not that easy. Like, when we first moved in, that was not that easy to open. I literally just touched it and opened. I'm making a travel. This is the lightest color thread I can find that I think will be the most hard to notice. Wow, yeah, you see, you can't even really notice once it goes up. That's magic. So I'm gonna put it like across, and if anybody's coming down, we'll see. And I'll keep you updated. Update. The thread is still there. So a quick little update. The thread is still there.